Welcome, Chavarim. We are going to do a study today on a scripture interpretation method called PaRDeS. You might want to get a notebook and a pen. You may want to write some of these things down so that you'll have a good understanding of how scripture should be studied and the method that's been used for many, many years already and proven to be successful. PaRDeS is an acronym for a standard means of interpretation of the scriptures. The word PaRDeS means orchard or garden, but it represents the layers of interpretation, namely Pshat, Remez, Drash, and Sud. Let's investigate these layers in the order that they are to be done as if we were peeling an onion. Pshat. Pshat is simple. That means simple. This is the first layer, the outer layer, that can be seen easily and gives us the primary, plain, and simple interpretation. Right away, we can see the size, the shape, and the color of the onion. A passage of Scripture can be plainly scrutinized to get the obvious meaning at first. Pshat is the keystone to understanding the Scripture. If the Pshat is discarded, we no longer have a viable means of understanding the passage. So literally, what you see is what you get. Now sometimes the plain meaning in the Pshat can be figurative, allegorical, and or symbolic. If a passage is figurative, then it will be also figurative in its Pshat. When inanimate objects are used referring to a person or people, the passage is figurative. Let me give you a couple of examples. Psalm 100 Verse 3 says, "Know that Yahweh, He is Elohim. He has made us, and we are His people, and the sheep of His pasture." Well, I know, at least I'm not. I don't think you guys are really sheep, are you? But this is just a figure of speech, so that Pshat is also figurative. And again, Yeshua is speaking in the book of Yochanan, or John, chapter 10, Verse 9, he says, "I am the door. Whoever enters through me, he shall be saved, and shall go in and shall go out and find pasture." Well, Yeshua says he is the door, but he's not a physical wooden door. He's speaking figuratively, so the Pshat would also be figurative. Okay, let's look at the next layered appeal. Remez. Remez means hint. It alludes to another deeper meaning in the Scripture where the Pshat still gives the obvious meaning, but a hint of another deeper meaning lies under the words of the Scripture. Here is an example of Remez. In Proverbs 20, verse 10, Mishle 20, verse 10, "Differing weights and differing measures, both of them are an abomination to Yahweh." The Pshat would instruct a merchant to use the same scale to weigh goods for all of his customers so as not to commit an abomination before Yahweh by being dishonest. Well, the Remez teaches that no matter what we do or where we are, we should be fair and honest to all people. Otherwise, our dishonesty is an abomination to Yahweh. You see, Remez peels off the first outer layer of the onion, revealing the implied instruction for all people, not just merchants. We go to the next step, which is Drash. The layer under the Remez, Drash, is an even deeper investigation. The imagery might be likened to an archaeological excavation. There are two basic rules that apply to Drash. First, Drash cannot be used to do away with the Pshat. The Pshat is always there, has to remain there always. Second, let Scripture interpret Scripture. Look for other scriptures that define the deeper meaning within. Drash pulls from other resources as well, but like a fisherman that returns to the hot spots of fishing every time he goes, we return also to the resources we know and to be trusted resources. At this depth of searching for the truth, we might search through commentaries and other scholarly works on our subject, When doing so, we always keep in mind that one scholar's insight might come from a particular viewpoint and another from an entirely different perspective. Neither one of them are right or wrong entirely or partially even, but different. Different perspectives facilitate uncovering a fuller understanding. Once an understanding has been reached, though, it has to be examined to see if it holds up under the scrutiny of the full body of the Scriptures. The next step, and my favorite, is Sud. Sud is the fourth layer of investigation, which involves what is referred to as the hidden, secret, spiritual, or mystical discovery. Ooh, no, it's not like that. Sud is typically conducted through a method of deciphering the symbolic representation of the Hebrew letters that make up each word. There are fully accepted and long-standing meanings contained within the Hebrew alphabet, in particular the ancient Hebrew Aramaic called the Otiot. While there may be those who are skeptical of this approach, it is a well-established, recognized method of interpretation among the Hebrew community who knows their letters are better than anyone else's, and can be effective in a shedding of new light to a passage or verse of Scripture, giving deeper understanding to the meaning of Yahweh's Word. The perfect example for Sud is Tiffany Detzel's video, Expectation, where she used Sud to interpret the verse in Galatians chapter 5, verse 5. I will leave a link to this video in the Show More section below this teaching, and I highly recommend that you watch it. Thank you, my friends, for dropping by. I hope you got a better out of this teaching. Shalom.